Okay, all you comic book fans out there, this is the one they call the American Samurai. And we're going to take a look at the Charlton hero character, Peter Canon, the Thunderbolt. This character is currently, well, actually does have a modern series. Maybe at some point I'll look at that in the channel, but yeah, we're going to look at issue 56. I did a flip through of issue 55. If you remember, his comic is broke up into two parts. So for all you British fans, this is a bit of an anthology comic, but it only has two characters. You have the Sentinels, which is a combination of rock group and superhero team with a little bit of elements of the Fantastic Four thrown in, but there's only three of them. So if you're a Batman fan, it's a little like the Trinity. One has psychic power. The gal has psychic powers. The guy's a little bit like, one guy's a little bit like Bren Grimm, the other one can fly. And then you have Peter Canon, the Thunderbolt, who is essentially, if you've ever seen The Watchmen, he is what Ozymandias is based on. Though he is a little bit, I think he is more noble. And he came to being because, for those of you who didn't know, if I've seen my previous videos, the creator wanted to do Daredevil stories, the original Daredevil, the one who was in part superpowers. But he could not get the rights to do Daredevil stories, so he essentially created his own character and based his costume on the original Daredevil. That is why his costume was half red, half blue. His top is, because it's a nod to the original Daredevil. This is issue 56 of Peter Canon Thunderbolt. And this is Peter Canon Thunderbolt, Beware of the Cobra. Now, essentially, this is Peter Canon. Peter Canon has a sidekick. I forget the name of his sidekick, forgive me. And in a way, Peter Canon has all these skills and abilities, but he's a little bit like Nero Wolfe, or he doesn't want to use them. He's got kind of a comfortable living, but his sidekick is a bit like Archie Goodwin, where because of something he says or does, he gets brought into it. In this case, he wouldn't get brought into the case. You can see some of his past cases. This one is the one that intrigues me the most of his past cases, I think, right here. I may have to look and find an issue where this case shows up and see if I can read that one, because that one sounds like an interesting one to read. This guy is Cobra, and he was working with a doctor who helped him creating this venom from Cobra serum, but it didn't turn out the way the doctor wanted, and it allows whoever injected with it to be completely in control of the person who injected him. Well, this guy took control of it, basically enslaved the doctor, helped him create it, and is basically turned anyone who uses it into slaves. And he's been kidnapping people. Well, this causes some problems for Peter Canon, because there's a child. Now, Peter Canon himself thinks the police can handle it until his faithful friend Psychic tells him that there's a child who this special doctor has been kidnapped by. And unless this special doctor does the surgery on this child will die. Okay, well, that's all Peter Canon needs to hear. So he's going to rush in there and find this doctor, and so this doctor can save this child, because he is the protector of children. I think he is like the protector of children and in danger. He will not let a child die on his watch. So it's, like I said, kind of the Archie Goodwin to Peter Canon's Nero Wolfe. Whereas Nero Wolfe never gets involved in anything if it hadn't been for Archie Goodwin. So he kind of goes on this adventure and has to deal with Cobra and fight him and uses various, because Peter Canon doesn't have any superpowers, but he is trained to use like 100% of his brain and mental skills, and only he can supposedly do this kind of stuff. Of course, he saves the day and that kind of stuff. Now we get on to the Sentinels, who are a masked rock group. That's their gimmick, and they're appearing on the Ed Sullivan Show. Yes, we got a really big shoe for you tonight, folks. And it's kind of a gimmick. So you've essentially got if you want to put into the Fantastic Four, you've got Reed, Sue, and Ben. No Johnny. And each have superpowers, and they're facing Where the Titan Walks. And they're given superpowers by this scientist. And this bad guy comes looking for the Sentinels. Their agent says he's going to help them get more money, but, you know, the Ben Grimm kind of doesn't want to do this because he thinks they're not using. He just kind of wants out of it. But when this big guy's causing trouble, he comes back in kind of like how Ben Grimm would in the Fantastic Four, you know. And they end up having a fight with this guy. I think here's my favorite part around here. This guy says he kind of gets sick on roller coasters, but he had to get on a roller coaster just to keep the bad guy so he can recuperate. But yeah, this ends on a cliffhanger, and just the way this one ends. Listen to this. Son of a gun! Don't look now, Charlie, but we used up all the space we have. Oh well. We know how you love cliff dwellers. So we'll keep y'all Pablo boys for another few weeks. That way you'll know we'll be around action next-ish. When the Brute and the Titans tangle again to the climax, we'll have eaten your homework and be with us. Dig? Okay. Was that supposed to be English? Or was the writer on something? But yeah, I dig, dude. I dig. You insist you have to buy issue 57 to find out what happens to the gang. See, I give this issue a 5 out of 5 because I'm going to have to pick up issue 57 to find out what happens to them. And maybe I'll review that in the future. But yeah, I'll have to look into picking up issue 57 and see what happens then. So I give it a 5 out of 5. A good Thunderbolt adventure. And a really interesting adventure with the Sentinels. I think the Sentinels were really the star of the issue. Thunderbolt Adventure is okay, but the Sentinels were the real star. Until next time, keep your feet on the ground and nose in the book, and rock on until next time. I hope you enjoyed my review of this issue of Peter Canon Thunderbolt, issue 6. See you later, Booktube.